You are watching Issues at Hand on Church of Uganda Family TV. My name is Tumuheri Bruno Edgar. Welcome to this Friday's edition. And Issues at Hand is proudly brought to you by Protea Hotel Entebbe, where, by the way, it's the right place in case you want to have a lovely weekend, whether with your family or as a married spouse, with your fellow spouse. Entebbe, Protea Hotel Entebbe is the place for you. Now, it has a very luxurious scenery by the lakeside, but then it also has amazing gym equipment for you to work out, but wonderful rooms as well where you can relax and rest, especially after a strenuous week such as this. Please make your reservation and booking today, as there are wonderful amenities awaiting you as far as Protea Hotel Entebbe is concerned. Then, when it comes to our discussion today on Issues at Hand, we are talking about security, especially when it comes to guidelines we are receiving from Uganda Police. And we're going to start with the discussion on the school attacks. Why are we having schools being attacked by gangs? And it looks like they're coordinated attacks, and this is something that needs to be stemmed out, especially by the security forces. And with me to discuss this issue and more is Inspector of Police Stephen Nyegenye, who is also a Community Liaison Officer from Wandegeya Police Station. You are welcome to Issues at Hand this morning.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank the living God for the free life He has given all of us, for the free gift of life that He has made us, me and you, reach on this TV.
Amen.
When I can quote the Bible, when you read the book of Matthew, chapter 28, verse 18, it says, "Go and make all nations disciples." So our coming here is to make the nation disciples. We tell the people the do's and the don'ts. And I'm very much privileged to be here for the third time. And the question for today is security in general. You see, at times when we talk of security, the perception of the public is that when you talk of security, you are talking about men and women in police uniform, men, women and women in army uniform. When we talk about security in general, you are the first soldiers on the ground. Security begins with you. And when you read the book of Deuteronomy, it talks about security. But when you look at Objective 3 of the Constitution, it talks about national unity, peace and security. And it goes ahead to say, Objective 3, that all organs of the state and the people of Uganda shall work towards the promotion of national unity, peace and stability. What does it mean? That there is no way police or security agencies can work without a hand of the community. So we are here to tell the community what they are supposed to do about security. Because for us, we are just an additional security. And when you look at your clothes, it really educates you that security begins with you. I don't think if there is any clothes which has no pocket. So meaning that when you have your money, keep it there for security purposes instead of moving with it. But today we are here to tell our teachers, to tell our parents, to tell our students, to tell our pupils, and all stakeholders in security. Because like I had quoted Objective 3 of the Constitution, and you heard what it said, but I need to echo on that objective. Schools, there's
Now,
too much.
on schools, yes, indeed, and that's where we're going to start from. Because, Afande, we have seen at least 13 schools have been attacked by unknown assailants in central Uganda in the last 30 days. Incidents have been happening at night, especially where schools have been attacked in places like Mukono, Luwero, Mpigi, and Wakiso. And unfortunately, 5 people have been killed and property worth millions of shillings have been stolen. Now, according to the reports so far, the incidents appear to be coordinated and well-planned attacks. What have the investigations about these scenarios divulged so far?
Before I come to investigations, when we are here on the radio talk shows, we must tell people that there's something going on. It seems this is an organized crime. It is an organized crime, and they are targeting at where there is a loophole in security. What does it call for us? It tells us that maybe we have been relaxing, not only security organs, but in the security of the school. That's why we come up with the crime prevention tips. When I talk of crime prevention tips, it means obukodyo bwokusiiza obumenyi bw'amateeka. Now, one of the crime prevention tips, number 1 is security lights at schools. We encourage all school owners and stakeholders to make sure they have security lights in schools, to make sure they have wall fences, to make sure that there is CCTV camera, to make sure that they have private security guards. And the problem and the weakness in security of some of these schools is that you get one single security guard, and that's the weakness. Now, I was reading a novel one day, and this is what it said, that a quarrel to a neighbor is a warning to you. And when you look at these schools where attacks have taken place, they get only one single security guard. But if there are 2, like we police officers, we don't deploy 1, deploy 2. So that this one will protect this one's life, and the other will also protect this one's life. But when we have 2 security guards, the attackers will think twice. And we have what we call human error in some of these accidents. When it reaches at around 6, 1, 2 a.m., somehow, somewhere, one may doze. And if you are dozing, that's the weakness. They will take that weakness, they know you are alone, they will come and they do whatever they want. And of course, it will be the target. So, what I'm telling the community, we call it target hardening. Target hardening, under target hardening, that's where we are encouraging people to have CCTV cameras for proper investigations.
But is that enough? Because in one of the scenarios where the school was attacked, the CCTV cameras were there, but they were vandalized by the criminals who attacked the school. And it still did not stop them from carrying out.
That's why I'm
crime.
saying that there is the school managements have relaxed somehow, somewhere. By fearing expenses, they deploy only 1. So we are encouraging them to start deploying 2 or more. And we have, in the police, we have K9. But outside there, people can train their own dogs. And the work of the dog is to alert that there's something going wrong. There is an enemy around, starts barking. And others, after barking, they can do action. The dogs. So we encourage people to have dogs in schools, in garages, in other private places. So that, like I've said, the work of the dog is to bark, and it tells you that something wrong is about to happen. It wakens you up. Is it okay?
Indeed. What other security tips can you tell us? And not just schools as well, but even after schools, how the others that are stakeholders, that's parents and teachers, because in some scenarios teachers have also been injured. What can the teachers do as well? But let's start with schools, then we go to teachers, then how parents can help in the security situation at
That is very good. Like I've said, security is not one man's shoe. That this is shoe size 10, it fits only Nyegenye. Security is for all of us. And we are all concerned about security. And when we start a journey of security, we all wake up. We all wake up and start the journey for security. And how do we wake up? When you read Article 212, it talks about functions of Uganda Police Force. Article 212. Under functions of Uganda Police Force, I am interested in clause D, which says, police shall cooperate with the civilian authority and other security organs established under the law. Police cannot work alone. But what does police need? Flow of information to police without fear. You remember in 2006, when the former IGP introduced crime preventers, and the people perceived it, and it was a good gesture. Crime preventers, when you become a crime preventer, is a person who does not support a crime. And he has 2 guns. One gun is your eyes. What have you seen? What are you seeing? What do you expect that person to do? But do you know that person? Are you conscious about that person? What has he carried? Then another gun is your ear. What have you heard about security? If an accident was in Mukono, you see criminals are very funny, more especially organized crime. They're very funny. When they go somewhere, they start boasting. And when you are there, please listen. And after you have listened, use the third gun, your mouth. Take information to police. Because police, we are not angels, and we cannot be everywhere. But our tightening of security shall fully depend on flow of information to police without fear. And when you read Article 41 of the Constitution, it says a right of access to information. Some of these things happens because we don't get information earlier. But if we can get information earlier, one day, when you read the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 36, it says, an enemy of a man shall come from his own household. So some of these things which are happening are in-house. We believe so. And a school would never be attacked when there is no green snake in green grass.
But that means if that is so, then that's a very complicated system by these organized criminals, because these are different schools in different areas of Uganda, and so is it a syndicate that is approaching people in schools to divulge whatever secrets they have in terms of security and things that can be stolen by criminals?
As we talk now, we have a department in police called Crime Intelligence. And the Crime Intelligence, as we talk now, in fact, I'm very sorry, we are just from a school, a team, a big team. Me, the PC, CID, Crime Intelligence. We are from Caltex Academy. And this is the message we are carrying there. Of course, today when we go to schools, we are now carrying two topics. We talk about security in general. We talk about homosexuality. But today, the most touching topic is security in general. And we tell them, how prepared are you in case of anything, like tomorrow or the other day? And we move around and we tell them, please, here you need some amendment. Here you need some amendments. And we also tell these security guards, you must check, thoroughly check, even if he's a teacher, even if he's a staff. And you remember me quoting Matthew chapter 10, verse 36. Thorough checking. If one doesn't want to be checked, let him go back. And you have witnessed when they were checking me here. But if you are an upright person, why do you refuse to be checked? And it is their work. The security guards at the gate. So if we are to handle and succeed and tighten the security in schools, I've said the flow of information. Also we have neighborhood watch. It is not good for people to create enmities in working environment. But you get other schools, they are not one with the neighborhood. But if you are one with the neighborhood, for you are inside there, the school has a wall fence, whatever is happening outside, you cannot know. But people are seeing it. But because you are not in good time with the neighbors, nobody will come and inform you that we have been seeing somebody here. These criminals are very funny. That's why we are saying this is organized crime. They first come, survey, and understand where is the weak point. How do we start? But these people who are seeing them, who are the neighbors outside there, they will never come and inform you because of poor and bad neighborhood watch. But when we put this target hardening, like having your personal and private dogs, like you have your security light, you have a wall fence, you have flow of information to police, you have put in place crime prevention methods. All this I'm talking about, we call them private crime methods. And when you have private security methods at the school, these things may not happen. And we as a security, we have now decided patrols at night. Also, we inform the village to form village security committee, so that village security committees, they intensify foot patrol, because in Kampala here, every parish has got a police post. Now, it is the work of the chairperson LOC1, who is the chairman for security in his zone, to team up with the OC post, OC station, and he has already organized his village security committee, which is headed by the OC of that particular place. Because when you look at section 12 of Local Government Act, it says the chairperson LOC1 is the chairman for security in his party, is in his zone. The chairperson LOC2 is the chairperson for security in that parish. The chairperson LOC3 is the chairman for security. But the problem is that the community now leaves the issue of security to police. That is where we get a problem, which I wouldn't see it as a bad thing, but they also hide information. And we have other local leaders who doesn't want to work together with the security. If they see a police officer in the village with a gun, the chairperson is too inquisitive. How dare police officers to come in my village with a gun? And the most disturbing thing is a gun. That is them. I want to bring a scenario. You remember you remember the peace we are enjoying now. What brought this peace? It is the gun. The man took up arms. He went in the bush. And in 1986, 87, somebody came up. He said, I also need. That is Alice. She was Alice who? Alice Lakwena. What chased Alice Lakwena? A gun. After a short time, Lord Resistance Army
Joseph Kony.
Of Joseph Kony. Now, if you say Kony way, the answer is absent, sir, because of a gun. Now, are you a chairperson who understands this, the history of this country? Who doesn't want a gun in your village? I'm conclusively saying, you say gun, you have seen peace. And it is...
Well, if the gun is in the right hands.
Oh, of course, of course. When you say gun in the right hands, you have seen peace. But of course, when you look at Article 221 of the Constitution, it says all security organs to observe human rights. And when we talk of human rights, that is removing guns from wrong hands. And if a gun is in right hands, you will always see peace prevailing. And if you want peace to prevail, please work with the security, give them information. In case of any information, give it to them so that they can sit and ask very many questions. Who does this? At what time? When does it happen? And when you go to the LOCs, they know these people, they eat with them, they are our children, but because of votes, they think if they say it is a son of Nyegenye who does this, his votes will fly away. And that one has caused us issues because of lack of communication to police. That bridge, if we can bridge that gap of communication, And if we do that, we are going to prevail. And you remember our IGP, his message of the new year, he said this time police will be ahead of the community. And we need to be ahead of the community. And if we are to be ahead of the community, information.
Information is key.
Information is the key in security.
Now, talking about information, please inform us, apart from investigations and sensitization, what else is Uganda Police doing to beef up security when it comes to schools?
Number one, every police station, we have formed Riders Squad. Riders Squad, 5 motorcycles have been identified. And we have the riders at night. And
what is per police post around the schools? For every police post?
Within Kampala here, every police post has a motorcycle. Every police post, every police station has a what? A motorcycle. But what we need people to wake up is the chairperson is LOC wants to form village security committee. The village security committee will work hand in hand with the area OC station. And they beef up patrols. And of course, these thieves, these thugs, these criminals will think twice. So, if we are to do this, information and forming village security committee and observing all this, like CCTV cameras, security lights, private security guards, wall of fence, having at least 2 security guards, we shall win, because we have fought very many wars, and I believe police has not seated. There is good plan. There is a good plan, but information. Even the deputy IGP emphasizes on information. We have given out the numbers of DPC, the numbers of OC station, the numbers of crime intelligence, the numbers of CLOs, community liaison officers, and the numbers of crime intelligence. And the Department of Community Liaison Officers are not sleeping. You will hardly come and get us in offices. So, like my division, we have already come up with school programmist. We need to sensitize these schools. You remember police has been sleeping when people had started attacking police posts. But it was a wake up. Do you hear it? History. And this one will be history. Where we have reached today, it will be history. And investigations. I don't want to talk about investigations on the press.
Indeed, and investigations, we wait to see the results of the investigations, because that will also help schools prepare adequately when it comes to beefing up security around the students, around the premises, and even around those who are keeping watch of the schools, because they also need security. But very quickly, before we get into a break, is there any sort of training that Uganda Police can put together for security guards in these schools?
We are moving to private security guards. And we are telling them, please organize, we need to come and train your people. And there is that program, especially in my division. And it is, I think, countrywide. I remember at one time, G4, is it G4S? It is one of the most well trained security guard. And if all other security guards can do the same, because really they are still half-baked. We need to train them, and we are ready to train them. We are now waiting for their programs, and they are all aware.
We have seen there are many incidences of crime and many incidences of accidents when it comes to traveling for Easter. And so the question is, Afande, how best can we ensure that we are safe as we enjoy the Easter festivities when it comes to traveling, in terms of preventing accidents, but also when it comes to different places of worship and events, places where events for the Easter celebrations are going to be held?
Thank you so much. We have been having these messages, more especially when we are moving to the time of events. And you remember during the time towards Christmas there, you would see community liaison officers in the city, almost on daily basis. One, we are encouraging the community that before you sit in a car, before you sit in a taxi, before you jump on a motorcycle, observe this. Do you know the number plate of the vehicle? Do you know the number plate of the motorcycle? Have you made sure that all your luggages, because people move with their luggages, they enter the vehicle and leave the luggages to these people? Make sure that your luggages have been put in the vehicle. Make sure you take time to see and even put it down, the number plate of the vehicle, the number plate of the motorcycle. Then make sure you are not squeezed in the vehicle. And this is the responsibility of the community. And make sure if you're in the vehicle, you see the driver driving in a terrible speed, it is your responsibility to say, please, driver, because when we look at the causes of accidents, number one is human error. Number two is overspeeding. Number three is expectations. You expect to drive in a terrible speed so that you reach where you are going and come and pick others, because we left very many people at the park.
Yes, since many people are traveling.
Yes, since very many people are traveling, you expect to make money. For you, you are after making money, but you are not after life, people's life. So we are telling the community, it is your responsibility. It is your right under Article 24 of the Constitution to tell the driver, please, this is not the way we should move. You can even make noise and no. The man will adjust. So, number 3 now, money handling. Today when you come and they say they have picked my 1 million in the house, they have picked 1 million in my bag, people may look at you and doubt. Because banks are everywhere. Everywhere. Even on your phone, you can move with your money on your phone. Why should you carry a lot of money in the pocket? And you put a lot of money in the pocket, and the money is seen, people are poor, others don't have money, and we have criminals. They have already planned, but they're planning on your pocket. So we should avoid moving with a lot of money on us. We should avoid being squeezed. Even if you go to the park and you see somebody is, please, Be cautious. Be conscious. The only way of preventing crimes during the event is to be conscious. Who is this person following me? Before joining the police, I'm a reverend from Church of Uganda. But before joining the police, I was very cautious. And that is why I joined police. When somebody is following me from behind, I would stop. I need me to follow him. Because why should somebody follow you? And also move on your pace. Why don't you stop? And you let him go. So that you move when you are not inconvenienced. So let us avoid over squeezing. Let us avoid even over squeezing in the taxis. Let us avoid carrying a lot of money on us. Let us also keep our money well, where money cannot be seen. But a situation of putting money in the pocket, you put money in the socks, and the money is even, that is, to me, is in order to attract dash. But you may put it there in order to attract the criminals. Am I deceiving? You have money, and this man is not having even a coin. So let us learn how to keep our money. And that one, we call it crime prevention tips.
What about places where events are going to happen? A good example is the unfortunate tragedy that happened at Freedom City, where people, unfortunately, even children, lost their lives due to overcrowding and mishandlement as far as the event was concerned. What is police looking at this time? What are some of the guidelines you can give to event owners, event organizers, and the owners of places where some of these events are going to happen?
This time it is a bit complicated, because if you are an event organizer, you have to estimate the number. And after estimating the number, it is going to depend on the number that you have estimated. And you are right up to police. And that's where we shall determine how many personnel to deploy there. And these personnel who are going to be deployed there, we have in mind that every police officer is a community liaison officer, and their work is to go and sensitize the community. You will see police officers sensitizing the community this time around. That is what we have put in place. We need the people to be sensitized, and the people are going to be sensitized. And we have started sensitizing. And I'm now sensitizing. And I remember to have said it and quoted it in the book of Matthew, chapter 28, verse 18. So the book also says, the Bible also says, tiwe munawuliranga amateeka amatukuvu, munalyanga ebirungi ebyensi. If you hear and obey the law, but we munagaananga ne mujemanga, munaliwanga n'ekitala. And I have always advised the people in a very funny way. If you don't want to sweat, do you eat a kitchen? Do you?
No, you don't.
So
well, if the kitchen has
yes,
food, maybe.
And if you don't want the smell, do you enter the toilet? Do you?
No, you don't.
So if you don't want your money to be stolen, if you don't want to be involved in criminalities, observe the time. The events, I call them, these are vanities. Will you die when you don't go? Much as it is your right to enjoy. But if you assess the situation, and they see the situation, by the way, let us have common sense. I remember one day I was reading a book written by Kwame Nkrumah in 1957 when he was fighting for the independence, and his people who were inside there, after a meeting, they could move out and they tell the other side the secrets. And he said, common sense is not common in all people. And that's what is killing us. If you see the place is too congested, why do you go there? You see the vehicle is full, why do you squeeze there? Let us have a sense of understanding. Let us have a sense of assessing the situation so that we don't involve in these things. And these things are there. And it is good to avoid them. So I encourage our people to avoid other situations.
Indeed. Now, in closing, for those schools who are looking to beef their security, or for people who are looking to get in touch with police so that they can know more how to either secure their homes or schools or places of events or places of worship, is there a number they can call, and how can they get in touch with such a person?
Every division in Kampala here, every district in Uganda has a DPC, has OC station, has OCCID, has crime intelligence, has district community liaison officer, has divisional community liaison officer, and has the number of OC traffic. And I want to give them these numbers. This one will do in Wandegeya. I'm giving them the numbers of DPC Wandegeya, OC Wandegeya, OCCID Wandegeya, CLO Wandegeya. So that in case of anything, please call us. We have our OC operations. It's 2 shifts. You call, immediately the man is there. And he's the one heading the rider squad. Very shift. You see, when you look at the geographical scenery of the city, a division, you see, when you talk of a division, there is divisional policing. It's not in electoral whatever. But when you look at Wandegeya, it is a divisional policing division, but it has 13 parishes. It has 71 villages. It has 7 outposts. You get me right? So for us in Wandegeya, I think we are more than prepared.
Yes, what are the numbers?
We are more prepared, and we are doing very well in terms of manpower. We are doing very well. Very well.
Please share the numbers so that
I want to share the number of DPC Wandegeya. The number of DPC Wandegeya is 0774 469740. The number of OC station 0702 40 0018. The number of OC operations 0700 47 7814. CLO 0703 78 2828. Please call us in case of anything. We are always there for you. I want to say bye-bye, and I want to wish the community, the Ugandans, this very radio, have a wonderful and a blessed week throughout. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Afande, for giving us those safety precautions and those tips to ensure that we are safe from any crime and that our security is beefed up in our areas. Thank you so much for joining us in Issues at Hand. Let's follow the advice that Afande has given us, and we shall be well on our way to being safe. For now, it's ciao. Have a lovely weekend. God richly bless you and enjoy the rest of the programming on Church of Uganda Family TV.